Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here with you again. Today, going to show you how to play Whole Lotta Rosie, Angus Young, Malcolm Young, and Akka Daka AC/DC. Going to cover all the rhythm parts in this tutorial and its crazy ass but awesome guitar solo. Let's close it and get started. Alright then, Whole Lotta Rosie AC/DC from 1977's Let There Be Rock. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial. Pretty famous riff this one has, very easy to play. Goes a little something like this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Right? Over and over and over again, like 11 times at the beginning of this track. A power chord, going to drop onto the 3rd fret of the A string, back to the A power chord. Then you're going to drop your pinky on the 5 of the A string, back to the A power chord, back onto the 3 of the A string, back to the power chord, and choke it off. Kind of like that, right? And repeat. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, full speed. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. All on the downstroke, right? Now, like I said, you're going to repeat that like 11 times at the beginning of this track, and then you're going to keep on repeating it once the full band joins, but now we're going to get it rolling, right, with a couple of punched in A power chords instead of choking it off at the end of the riff. Kind of like that, catching that A power chord like 3 times on the upstroke, right? And you repeat that like 10 or 11 times, right? And then we drop into the pre-chorus, which is going to be an F power chord 3 times, down to a D5 chord 3 times, which is just a D chord without the high E string, and then we're into the chorus, which is going to be A to G 3 times. A to G, A to G, A to G, and then finish the chorus with this. And then right back into the riff again. So we're holding in that G, right? A to G the final time. Then we're going to go 3, 2, 3, 2. Kind of muting out the A string with the pad of your middle finger, right? So you can kind of just hammer away on the bottom 3 strings or so. You're just going to go 3, 2, 3, 2, back to 3, and then into 4. Back into the riff again for the next verse, right? So that's the pre-chorus, chorus. F, 1, 2, 3, down to D5. Into the chorus, A to G 3 times. And then finish with that 3, 2, 3, 2. 3, 4. Into the next verse, right? Second verse, same as the first. Into another pre-chorus, chorus, same as the first. And the second chorus leads into the crazy-ass guitar solo that this one has. Now, we're soloing in the key of A, but he's thrown everything into this one. He's using the A minor pentatonic, he's using the blues scale, he's using the A major scale as well, so he's mixing major and minor as well. Going to run through it at a fairly relaxed pace here, and then we'll dig into how to play it. Pretty much the solo right there, and then it's going to continue after a little break, but we're starting with this slide into the 7th fret of the D string, right? Slide out of it, and then we're into that 7th fret of the G string, full step bend, pick it at the top, and release it off to 5. Pick it 3 times, bam, 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 and then back onto the 7 of the D to start the solo. Bam, 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 then we're on to the 8th fret of the B string for this. Right, we're doing 2 bends, but we're picking it like 4 or 5 times, right? Actually, we're bending that 3 times. Right, and then we're into this very quick little pentatonic lick. Right there, a lot of rolling going on the 7, starting on the 5 of the high E. And that's the lick right there. It's very quick. On that, and then you're going to go bam, 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 like 3 or 4 times, right? Just on that note from the beginning. Bam, 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 bam. Then we're into this repeating lick. And you're going to repeat that like 8 times, just 5 to 4 to 2 of the G, tremolo picked. And then you're going to slide up and down the neck and repeat. Right, kind of like that, and then we're into this. So we're up here on the 11 of the high E. We're going to go 11, 10, 8, and then on to 10 of the B. And then we're going to do these little descending trills, kind of like that, between 8 and 10, 7 and 8, and 5 and 7. And then finish the rest of the lick pretty much on the 5s and 7s, right? You go 2 hits of that 5 of the D and then drop down to the 5 of the G and slide out of it. Right, but very quick. And then we jump up here to the A pentatonic box at the 17th fret for that lick right there. So starting on the 17 of the high E, you're going to go 20 off to 17, back to 20 of the B, pull it back off to 17, up to 19 of the G, back to 17 of the B, right, back to that 19 of the G, and then we're going to do this little pull-off from 20 to 19 to 17 of the G, and then up to 19 of the D. And then do a little bit of rolling on those 19s. Back to the 17, double hit of that 19 of the D, back to the 17, slide out of it. Right, that's that lick. And he's getting the blue note in there, right? Into this. So we're into the 10th fret now. We're going to slide into this 10th fret of the B string, pick it like 3 times. And then we're going to go 8, 10, and then we're going to do some more trills. Same trills we did before, 8 to 10, 7 to 8, 5 to 7. Right, just back it up. And then we finish again on the 5s and 7s. And the final 3 or 4 notes are kind of choppy and staccato, right? One more time, nice and slow. And then we finish this solo with this. Just starting on the 5 of the high E, going up the pentatonic with a little pull off from 8 to 5 of the B. And then same thing from the G to the D string, right, on the 5s and 7s. When you get to that 7 of the D, roll it down to the 7 of the G off to 5. Right, and that finishes the solo. You can even get a little double stop, right? And then we're into the mid-solo break. Right there. But let's recap that solo first. Repeating lick. And then we're into the mid-solo break with this. It's basically the main riff, but played an octave higher and then just alternating, right? On the 5s and 7s of the D and the G string with a slide into that 7. Down to the 5, back to the 7, roll it down to the 7 of the G, kind of like that, back to the 7 of the D, back to the 5 of the G, back to the 7 of the D, right? And then back to the main riff in the original position. And then just alternate like 6 times. Right after you repeat that 5 or 6 times, this drops out of it. And we just repeat this 3 times, nice and quiet, right? And I'll palm mute it. And then back into that one more time, right? And then we drop into another shorter solo. There. So we're starting with this slide into the 7th fret of the D string, back to 5, and then chromatically all the way off to open. 4, 3, double time it, 2, 1, open. And then we're going to drop into a little trill here between 3 and 4 of the A, and then 3 to open. Drop into the 5 of the G, right? And then we're going to drop into this major scale lick, but let's recap that. 7, 5, 4, 3, double time it, 2, 1, open, trill, and then 3, 2, open. And then drop onto the 5 of the G and give it a little vibrato. Now we're into this A major scale lick. Right there. So we're starting on the 2s and 4s of the D and the G. Kind of repeating the same lick, just a little hammer on, right? 2 to 4. Same thing on the G string, go back to the 4 of the D. Kind of like that. Then you're going to go 2, 4, slide into 6. And then jump into this little box here on the 5s and 7s, right? And then finish hammer on 5 to 7 of the B, 5 to 7 of the high E, off to 5. Kind of like that, right? But very quick. Kind of like that, right? And then we're into this repeating lick, same one we did earlier, but now an octave higher on the 8, 7, 5 of the high E. Just tremolo picking, right? Same kind of lick, but it goes on much longer, like 15 or 16 times, right? And then you finally slide out of it and finish the solo with this. Right there. 15th fret of the B string, double bend. Release off the 13, 15 to the high E. Full step bends, nice vibrato. End of solo. And there you go. That is how you play the main solo to Whole Lotta Rosie by Angus Young. Let's recap the entire solo with the mid-song break, and then we're going to move on. So. 6 times, right? And after the 6th time, nice and quiet. Next solo, descending dramatically. 2, 1, open. Right? It's kind of hard to know how many times I'm doing that when I don't have a rhythm backing track behind me. And then we drop right into another pre-chorus chorus. Oh, I'm a little out of tune now. Sorry about that. D. Right into another chorus. A to G. A to G. Back into the main riff, and now there's going to be a big outro solo, which we're not getting into in this tutorial. Great outro solo just to improvise over, right? It goes on for like a minute, and it's just regular kind of outro solo shenanigans, right? Like lots of unison bends and double stop bends, and you know, in the same box. A lot of it going on here in this box, 17th fret position of the A minor box, right? Like unison bends, kind of like that, right? You know, classic blues licks like that, right? You know, licks like that. Little licks like that, double stops on the 17s, right? Grabbing the 19. You know, unison bends on the G and B string. You know, licks like that, just classic type of licks right there you can throw over that. He does little slides, little Johnny B. Good type slides into the 17th fret of the B and the high E, that kind of stuff, right? And there you go. That is how you play Whole Lotta Rosie by Angus Young, AC/DC from 1977. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that'd be very kind. Hope you're well out there, and we'll see you next time, yeah? Cheers.